Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Trust is so important in all relationships. So if you're in a situation that has you wondering how you can build, nurture, or even repair trust, our next guest is here to help. We welcome back licensed professional counselor Christine Babinec. Great to see you.
So good to see you.
We've talked previously about boundaries and consent and lots of different topics, but trust really ties in and is such an important part of relationships too.
Yeah, I think so. I think if we think about consent and boundaries as the foundation, they're also a means and a way to measure and assess trust in a relationship too. So if we are able to negotiate and navigate consent and boundaries really well, we are building trust.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're all connected. So let's talk about building in the first place.
Okay.
How do you start? How do you lay that groundwork?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we want to start slowly and work our way up. That gives us an opportunity to assess and reassess whether or not the trust is present and whether or not we want to make ourselves more vulnerable and take healthy risks to increase our communication, our sense of sharing, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, you know, even our behaviors. If all of that is respected, then we know that trust is going to build in that relationship quite naturally.
And it takes time. You don't want to just jump, and even if you have a really good feeling about somebody or you're building something that feels really good, give it a minute, let it kind of happen naturally as well.
Exactly. I think, you know, all of us have had our trust broken in the past, and so we find as we age, I think, that we feel more comfortable taking things slowly, learning over time, sharing a little bit more of ourselves as we go, and letting that trust naturally develop and giving ourselves a chance to feel more comfortable and safe in the relationship.
Okay, and then once you've built sort of a groundwork of trust, you've got to keep it healthy and keep it alive. So nurturing it is important too.
That's right. So first we build, then we nurture. And we nurture by, you know, meeting our friends or even our workmates or whoever with compassion, understanding, empathy. If we approach with curiosity and non-judgmental stance, then we're also building trust in that relationship.
Yeah, that non-judgment piece comes into so many different parts of these big conversations we have, even about ourselves. We're so judgmental on our own selves, much harsher than we are on even our loved ones sometimes.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, let's say you've had broken trust and you want to repair. You think there's a path forward. Where do you begin there?
I think the first thing that people often look at is this a one-time incident or is this a pattern of behavior? And even if it's not a one-time incident, maybe it's happened once or twice, is it a low-level breach of trust, medium, or a high-level breach of trust? So first we're going to assess that. You know, if it's a low-level bit of trust broken, and all of us have broken other people's trust and had our trust broken.
You have to remember that. None of us is perfect.
No, none of us is perfect. But if we really have some willingness and we want to repair, then we have to show up in a particular way. We have to bring a lot of patience. We do have to bring willingness. We have to bring a ton of honesty. We have to take responsibility. And we have to, again, go back to the basics, start renegotiating and navigating those boundaries again, and then building trust over time again.
I was going to say the time comes back into it if you want to kind of start over and not start fresh, because you can't erase everything from the past, but it doesn't happen overnight.
Exactly. That's
okay.
right.
Let's talk about different types and levels of trust depending on the situation, because not every relationship is the same, and that's okay.
I love that. Yes, exactly. I mean, we're going to have different levels of trust with family members than we are with workmates, than we are with friends we've known for a couple of years versus friends we've known for 30 years. So I love when people do not take an all or nothing approach on basically anything, but especially with trust. So yeah, we're going to look at those and assess those differently. I mean, if we have a boss and we've given our boss, you know, a good piece of work, and that boss takes our work and presents it as their own, that's a breach of trust. If that boss takes that piece of work, brags about us, helps lift us up, helps move us along, then we have a lot of trust there. And then that trust may bleed into, wow, this person may become a mentor, this person may become a more important person in my life because they've shown how trustworthy they are.
Let's go on a tough path and say you've had trust broken and you're feeling like, I just can't repair this, or I'm not sure if it's safe for me. How do you kind of admit that to yourself and go, even if it's not forever, nothing has to be definite. But how do you give yourself that space to say, maybe this doesn't serve me right now?
I love that. I think what we often want to do is we want to find a fix quite quickly. And I think patience is the key for this, allowing ourselves to take our time and really speaking to the person who we've had a breach of trust with and saying, you know, I'm not ready to even talk about repair yet.
Yeah.
Give me some time, let me think about it, consulting with our friends. And if we're talking about, say, a very large breach of trust, say like infidelity or something like that, we may want to get professional help.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's okay to say, I'm not ready or I need help.
That's right.
Cool.
Exactly.
Great to see you. Thank you so much.
So nice to be here. Thank you.
Great talk. We also want to remind viewers that Christine has an award-winning children's book called Want a Hug. This is a great way to start the conversation about boundaries with kids. We'll have more information about that and Chris on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.